Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 111 of the Alter Ego podcast. I'm your host, Jack Austin. With me, as always, Mr. Ryan. How you doing, buddy?
I'm swell, sir. How are you?
Swell. I'm good. My temptress.
Hello.
My sweet little tangerine is with me.
What's going on?
Well, you know, living life, 0 to 60, 9 to 5, 365 days a year.
Mm-hmm.
We have a special returning guest with us, Mr. Agnello.
I'm so honored to be here for episode 111.
Right?
I think that's so cool.
Let me tell you something right now, Alter Ego folks. I love that it's episode 111. But when episode 666 comes out, that is going to be a mother trucker of an episode.
Yeah, it's going to be a metal
That is
episode.
going to be the most heavy metal episode of any podcast you've ever seen in your entire life.
I would assume some sort of death talk is happening.
Seen or heard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know how long
it's gonna be amazing.
it's going to be?
How you doing, Nello?
I'm all right.
It's a long time. It's a long time.
That's
This will be
about
one of
10
the
years.
This would be one of the longest running podcasts of all time.
That's not true.
At that point, it'd be like 10 years.
Yeah,
before we hit
you don't think so?
Episode 666.
I know a couple people who have started and finished podcasts during the tenure of this one.
Yes. I know some of those people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Started, didn't go anywhere, finished.
Yeah.
Just gave up.
How you doing, buddy?
I've seen better days, but one day at a time, baby.
You're here,
one day
though.
at a time. Yep, I am.
Yeah. I mean, you know what you need to do, honestly?
Yeah,
Like,
talk
just
to me.
try to make you feel a little bit better,
Uh-huh.
is try a little Ford Supply Company. They offer a curated line of craft soaps and beard care, handmade in the USA, offering scents like coffee and cream, which I've tried. It's good. It's good. It's good. Megan doesn't jump my bones quite as much as I'd like her to, but she does give me weird stares from around the corner. Coconut, citrus, cedarwood, and many more. Check out the full line of craft soaps, beard oil. Try the beard oil. Actually, it's legit. And beard balm online at FordSupply.com. Free U.S. shipping on all orders over $35 and get an additional 10% off with the promo code Alter Ego. Ford Soap, real soap.
No bullshit.
None.
I mean, she should jump the bones a little more. She can't get more pregnant. You know
right.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
She technically
Advantage.
did jump the bones. Like, that is the
Yeah.
repercussions
Yeah, here
of
we are.
bone
The
jumping.
only time that I get those looks anymore is when I'm cooking in the kitchen. She's like, "What are you doing in here?"
is that
Like,
salmon
just making a
salad?
little food. She's like,
Again for the fourth day in a row?
Just cook it for mama.
I mean, you're not 1,000%
Successfully
wrong.
made everyone uncomfortable.
I got to get on that beard oil. I look like I just came off of a tour in Afghanistan with this beard.
We do need to talk a little bit about your beard game off air.
Wow, that's terrible.
Wow, off air.
We can do it right now. I don't give a damn.
It's just, you
It's
know,
al natural, baby. 1970.
it looks a
here
little.
we
It
come.
looks a little Borat. You know what I mean?
I just said that. I tore out of Afghanistan. I was goat herding the other day.
Wow. I would actually love to see you herd goats.
Me too.
Bro, me and the goats would have
purpose,
a great time.
only for the purpose of seeing what you name all the goats.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah,
They would all
I would.
have really
I would
cool
love
names.
that, especially to hear you be like,
Italian dishes.
"That's
One would be called Swoop.
that's penne alla vodka over there."
Wow. When I run out of names, maybe.
Yeah, you know what? I know for a fact one of the goats would be named Tony and Nello's. No, I'm kidding. You
Oh,
guys
yeah.
don't give me my ad.
You know, they've
You're-
been
it's
a
a
little
hostage
busy.
situation at this
They've been
point.
a little busy. I've been under the weather,
I don't care.
and they're.
I don't.
Geez.
This ad will your business
I mean, you're
will
the
live
genius.
and die.
You're the genius
this.
at this stuff. You make the ad and do whatever you want. I give you free liberty.
You know who I'll have do it is Robert Lamb.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Have him come in and do a pre-recorded Tony and
Just
Nello's
a
ad.
panicked, very nervous Italian sound.
Oh my
Can
gosh!
we get a commercial? with
I
a
would
banana?
kind of love to hear him do the Italian accent.
His Italian accent is second to none.
I'm curious
It's-
now.
Well,
You've tickled my
you're really,
fancy.
You're really putting him up on a pedestal there, baby.
It's almost as good as actual Mario from Mario Brothers.
He sounds like a
He
panicked
sounds panicked,
and nervous.
not Italian at all.
Yeah.
I got to go to the
Yes. Yes.
He's always crying. But you know what? I'm going to send him to 1136 Pinellas Bay Way, South Tier, Verde, Florida, for a must-try homemade Italian lunch or dinner.
Legitimately homemade because my family is cooking it.
That's legitimate, yeah. And we were there Friday, actually. And none of us could move the rest of the day.
That's the plan.
We ate this massive bowl of food and then took more home than we ate, which was weird. So go there, call them for a reservation, 727-867-3577, and check out tonyandnellos.edu. So, anyway,
It's an
we're back.
education website?
We're here. Yeah. Yeah,
Is it really EDU? I don't really know.
No, it is not edu.
See, you got me confused because I legitimately don't even know it's not. It could have been. You could have said
Edu is
.gov.
like college.
It's not .gov. I'll tell you that.
Colleges and
If
stuff.
it's nothing, it's not .gov. Anyway, let's jump into it, shall we? Got a lot of stuff to talk about before we get into Stranger Things Part 2.
Let's do it.
A lot of you have been downloading the Stranger Things Part 1 episode, so we hope you enjoyed it. We were happy to bring this one back, but the schedule going forward. Next week, we're talking about Thor, Love and Thunder. All of us actually present in this room got a chance to go see it. And no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
I'm not
why
asking
tickle
for
the
opinions.
water?
Let's move on.
I went and I didn't watch it.
Wait, what?
I turned the other
Makes
way.
sense. It makes sense.
Did you go to sleep?
He showed up and said, I'm not watching that.
And I just turned the other way.
A friend of ours
Don't
brought
know.
his daughter who fell asleep inside of 15 minutes.
What?
Yeah,
Yep.
she fell asleep. It was late. It was late. It was a sneak peek. Anyway, video games. The only one who's going to appeal to this is you.
Ooh.
God of War.
You only gave next week's schedule.
I know. So we got Thor Ragnarok coming up.
No. Thor, Love and Thunder.
Thor Love and Thunder. Jesus Christ. And then after that, we were going to do The Boys,
What?
but we may slow down for The Boys for Ryan because he's getting caught up.
Boys is amazing.
So we're going to do Miss Marvel, who actually, if you're listening to this right now, it is the 11th of July, and it comes out, or the finale's out Wednesday of this week, so the 13th. So we'll be doing Miss Marvel, and then after Miss Marvel, we'll be doing The Boys.
Who knows? It could flip flop. I might be able to binge out the boys. You never know.
It's not going to happen, guys.
have you,
I wouldn't
have you
hold my
watched
breath on
any of
this.
Miss Marvel?
Yeah, I'm only missing the last episode. I think.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
Wait,
okay.
I'm not trying to diss Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel over the boys. You should be watching the boys religiously.
The boys came out, and I started to watch it. And then
Years
I
ago.
stopped watching it,
Yeah.
and yeah,
well, you've made mistakes by stopping watching.
I'm gonna have to agree
I
with
never
her.
ever finished the entire season because I didn't do that episode, or maybe I did that episode and.
You
Well,
did
just
the
what I
episode.
saw.
I think you did it and left.
But like my thing is I don't like watching shows that run a lot and have multiple seasons because I don't want to be stuck having to watch them. Like I don't, I don't know how that makes sense. Like I don't like watching things until they're finished. I don't like
Oh, he's one of
starting
those.
to watch something and then it just goes
James
to trash.
James Cameron has words for you later on in this episode. But yeah, so God of War is coming out with, the reason I said Ragnarok for Thor was it's God of War Ragnarok coming out November 9th. And the last one they came out, they were saying is like the greatest game ever.
Amazing.
The
Simply
cinematics are great. It won a lot of awards. I don't know. That must be exciting.
amazing. Visually stunning, that game.
I wish that game would come over to Xbox because I'd play it.
Well, it's an inferior system. It couldn't.
No, you shut your
Statistically,
mouth.
you're incorrect. Like just the specs of it, you're actually physically wrong.
And PlayStation gives out better exclusives than Microsoft does too.
Again, false.
Gives out? No. They have
Launches,
at a
produces.
premium
excuses, better exclusives.
God of War is
Yeah.
one of the greatest.
for sure, easily.
There's
Gears of War is one of the greatest too.
not nearly as good as God of War.
That's where you're wrong.
If you're gonna put something at God of War's level, I would give it Halo, maybe 1 and 2.
Oh, sorry, Gears is better. Anyway, let's move on. There's another open world survival game coming out. What are that? It's not Battle Royale. It's his actual survival. Have you ever played like a survival game? Like you load into the server and you have to make sure your character eats. If it's in a cold environment, he has to stay near
like
fire.
a Tamagotchi?
like Rust.
Yeah, like Rust. So like you go in, you have to survive.
I've seen the streams. It's too difficult for me. I'm not interested in keeping my player alive. And then
So-
if they kill me, they take all my stuff.
So what about an open world Terminator survival game where you're out there in the apocalypse surviving against Skynet?
Nah, I'm
I
good.
feel like that game is just trying to prepare us for the future, like the actual.
I
future.
agree.
Are we living this right now?
Sorry.
I was about to say the same damn thing. Are we living this right now? Is this happening?
I mean,
outside?
That feels very
We're
real.
like a few years away from being inside.
So
of that
yeah, so
reality.
okay, so let's all get our practice in, so that when it happens, and we're ready.
I'm gonna buy it because
I would
there
play
really
that
isn't
game.
much anything out there anyways.
I've got to see some more before I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it. I'm looking at that Skull and Bones game really closely too.
Oh, the pirate one.
The
that's
pirate
for
one,
Xbox
yeah.
only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not for Xbox
Is it
only.
on-
It's
is it-
Ubisoft, so it's everybody. But that one's going to be good. I like the open world stuff sometimes. I don't like open world when there's like a really narrative draw to it. I like open world sandbox style games.
Like Red Dead.
Because then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But open world story driven and like the Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that game was gorgeous. Cool voice acting, lots of story. I got overwhelmed really early on, and then like if you're not a pro with some of that fighting, you're like, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like right when you're supposed to get going. That's what happened to me. Maybe I'll pick it back up, but I don't know. This one seems interesting though. But that's all I got for video games, guys.
Did you see
Wait. I want to give an update on the Overwatch 2 beta. Have you played it yet?
Nope.
Guys, I'm frustrated. I really love Overwatch. I've put so many hours into Overwatch, and this new game feels so different. It's crazy.
Is it like clunky or just different?
It's not clunky. It's like team fights that should be over quick.
Lasts a lot
They
longer.
last a lot longer.
Are you not able to
So they
play
nerfed
it the
stuff?
old way?
They buffed people's health. They buffed a lot of stuff. And it's like, so when you're in Overwatch now, if you catch somebody slipping, you can put them down quick. In this game, not the case. I have had amazing flanks on people and just ended up catching myself out of position, even when I'm hitting shots. Now, the one tank is also very different. It's very different because it's
Is it
just...
though? Because you don't, you got that diva that's just offline doing whatever, not doing anything anyway. So you only got one tank to begin with. You know what I mean?
From
Or the Hammond.
from the diva main.
Or the Hammond who's just over there rolling off to the side.
I don't know. There's been a lot of stuff to buff a lot of characters, and like all the characters that I'm typically good with, I'm like I'm suffering here. I can't really do it. Oh, I mean, that are not healer characters. If you're a healer, first of all, your queue time quick. Nobody wants to play heals. Everybody wants to beg for them, but nobody wants to play them.
I mean, who really wants to be a healer though? In any MMORPG,
I am in every single one of them.
Really, I hate that shit.
I am your main healer. I'm the guy your
DPS
squad is
all
looking
day.
for. Exactly.
When I was in
DPS
the
all day.
division, I was a straight support healer.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I like. And it's just like, I mean, I don't want to have to only play one class. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to go to other classes and have fun. Like, every once in a while, jump on something else. But if I'm going on a hero and I can't kill anybody, unless I'm getting, like, right up close in their mouth, risking getting killed, I don't know. It's not fun.
Yeah, see, I was wondering. I see the pros play, so obviously it's a lot different. But it just, I don't know. Overwatch seemed like it's going to change, and it's going to be for the worse. As of right now, if this beta was the finished product, I'm glad it's free to play. Because I would think the same thing. I'd be like,
Is it really free to play though? Just like Warzone.
Yeah, it's free to play. Yeah, you can download the game and play it to your heart's content. And none of the characters, you can't buy any better guns. They're all stock characters. You play what you play. Period. The only thing you'd have to buy is cosmetics. You could pick up the game day one and be just as good as anybody else. But I don't know. Maybe it changes. Maybe things get reworked. Maybe they hear, because they were like, these are supposed to make team fights more definitive. And I'm like, yeah, without a tank, people die quick. The skill is going to really rise and you'll be able to move on. But no, everybody's beefier. Everybody's tankier. So it's like, even if you catch somebody out of position, they have the chance to turn around. And if their team focuses you, you're just out of gas.
So it's dragged out.
Yeah.
It's too extended.
And I would much rather a fight be over quick.
Before you get off the video game thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Skyrim multiplayer mod?
I've seen that in 3 days, 80,000 people have bought it. I am very excited for it.
80,001.
I'm going to go take a look. Do you have to buy it?
I don't know if it's free or not. I just read about it, and then I wanted to come here and talk to the video game experts.
I love Skyrim. Skyrim has gotten so many hours of my life.
See if you've played it or seen it.
Oh, yeah. It's incredible, but I don't know who I would play Skyrim with. I mean, it's a crazy game. I love it. No, I don't hook up with randos in terms of video gaming. That's not going to happen. Truck stops, sure. Video games, no.
So, but back to the Overwatch. Is
Uh-oh,
it carried
knew
because
knew.
of the healers? Is that what makes it harder now too? If you have good healers, does that make the fight last longer, or is it just they're just that much beefier? And
I think it's they're that much beefier. Healers are very hard to kill because of their passive ability. Like if they're out of fights for a second and a half, they instantly start healing.
yeah,
So you're not going to catch a healer out of pocket, because if they get somebody to back them up, then it's just over with.
oh.
And especially somebody like me who plays Lucio, who's a very fast character. I'm already very hard to hit as is. So you give me that heals, I'm invincible. And that's got to be so frustrating for the other team.
Have they added healer? Like, do healers buff now too, and all that stuff, or no?
But that is the buff, is that they heal. Other characters don't heal like that.
But like others, like can they buff like your tank or whatever?
Oh yeah.
Now, did you see
I don't know,
any
I've never
change
played
to
Overwatch.
abilities by anybody else in the beta? I'm wondering
Well, first of all, Torbjorn is obsolete now. He's
Really?
obsolete. Yeah, unless you have a shield tank who's playing with Torbjorn, but his turret doesn't do enough damage to give you any value. Like when you're,
so they nerfed his turret.
they didn't nerf it. It's just he's not getting kills. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got people who are healing and then the team just focuses the turret real quick, game over. Whereas in this one, if you have two tanks, people have to commit to trying to beat those tanks, and that gives that turret more time to be up and have value. And people have to focus other stuff as opposed to that. With no tanks, nobody in front of you, the team just goes, oh, there's the turret. Boom, done.
So now are you seeing more actual grouped up team fights though?
Yeah, you are. You're seeing grouped up team fights, but the problem is anytime anybody breaks off, you know what team's going to win.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's kind of the way it was supposed to be designed. So
Sure.
I'm not mad at it, but
I don't know. We'll see. This goes on till the 18th.
And
I'm going to ride it till the end, and
played-
hopefully things change.
have you played any tank action? How's my boy doing Fist as a tank?
I'm not good with him. I'll tell you that. Although his pick rate has gone way up. He's very good by other players. And if I can pocket him, which I do, you can stay up forever.
I like how you ask the questions for the two classes that you give a shit about: the tank and the healer. The rest
Now
of them,
the
they can go to hell.
DPS is tough,
No,
man,
honestly,
because
I
like
normally DPS.
'Cause
this was DPS and then moved to a healer, which is why a tank, which is why I'm asking.
I got a lot of characters that I play consistently, and if they're DPS, and the only one I've been able to stay having value with is Junkrat, who's a big shoots grenades, they blow up, they hit an area.
Yeah. Junk's
Now
my boy.
Bastion, he's got a crazy rework. He now can't stay in turret form. He gets it for 12 seconds, and then it's on a cooldown. And his little turret section moves, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, let's get off of Overwatch. We've been talking about it enough. Let's move on to movies, shall we? Let's talk about, not movies, Star Wars. Star Wars, the series Andor that's coming out, which is following the dude from Rogue One. What's his name?
Joe Smith.
I don't remember, but wasn't he
Joe
played
Smith.
by the guy that plays Moon Knight?
No,
Negative.
Oscar
Different
Isaac.
character?
You're thinking of the Poe Dameron, who's the TIE fighter in the new series. That is Oscar
Oh,
Isaac.
okay.
Andor is going to be following the different guy who actually was one of my favorite characters from Rogue One, and I can't think of it. Somebody please
Was the guy from Narcos?
DM
Right?
me after the fact. I think so. So Andor season 1 is going to take place over a year's time.
Okay.
And then Andor season 2, which it's already renewed for season 2, is going to take place over 4 years.
That's a
So
big jump.
each episode or each season is already getting 12 episodes each.
I'm assuming
So-
this is a Disney Plus thing then.
Yeah. Well, it's Star Wars. So what do you think about that? Because I'm thinking about this in terms of series, a lot of these things could happen over a long time. But these series that we watch, like I think of The Boys, I think of Umbrella Academy or Stranger Things or whatever you want to call it, they all seem to happen in a matter of a couple days. Even in the Stranger Things season 4, part 1, they're traveling across the entire United States, and it seems to happen in a matter of a day or two, which I'm sure is possible. But I'm just like, what's wrong with spreading things out and having more time and letting things develop?
I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't really.
You have a
care too
challenge
much
with
about
it?
Star Wars.
Okay, let's go Yu Yu Hakusho or whatever other show you're watching that takes place over several years.
Oh, I just you asked Star Wars in general. I don't give a shit about Star Wars.
Is it like a time jump thing?
I just
like,
know it happened in a galaxy a long, long time ago.
In a place, in a galaxy far, far away.
Whatever it is. I don't even know.
I don't like when shows go back and forth. Like if you're following a current timeline and then they do a flashback and then they go back to the timeline and they do a flashback before that flashback and you got to put shit together. If they're doing it like, I don't know.
The only time I've liked that was when Umbrella Academy season 1 did it, and they were jumping around all over the place. That was cool because it all culminated in one thing.
But they weren't really jumping in time. They were just jumping from like one reality to another.
Or sorry, that's season 2. Season 2 they did that.
But you know what I mean? Like if you get too many flashbacks, you start getting confused.
So this is not flashbacks. It just takes place over. Well, I don't know that.
You don't know.
It takes over time. I mean, you're right. That gets confusing, but I don't mind seeing it go over time.
But is it smart to mess with something so good like Rogue One? Like I love the fact that they're developing characters out of the normal arc of Star Wars, and they're going into and they're even going away from canon at some points.
No, well, I disagree. They're saying now that all this stuff is canon. If it's on there and it's on Disney Plus and it's part of the Star Wars
but
lore,
it's like new canon.
Done. Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's still canon.
Okay. But yeah,
just because
like,
we don't know about
like
it yet
George
doesn't
Lucas.
mean that it's not.
But you know what I'm saying?
No, I do, and I gotta say, this one doesn't look like it has any Jedi, and anything I've seen with Star Wars that doesn't have any Jedi has been phenomenal. When you get rid of the Jedi Sith bulk about back and forth, dark side, light side, using the Force, shows have been great. Rogue One being the prime example. Yeah. Mandalorian, Boba Fett, prime examples. When you get away from the Force and the Jedi,
well, there was
these shows get good.
In Mandalorian.
Who?
Ahsoka. Yeah.
She's not a Jedi.
No, question. Like, how are they going to do it, though? They're going to do it
Force
just like
sensitive.
This is 2 years now. This is 3 years later now.
Sure.
And just push it forward. Because if they do that, I'm not really mad at it. As long as the characters develop with it. I mean,
I agree, especially if it's like they're planning for something to happen and there's really no foreseeable future. Like, we're going to start doing XYZ thing and we'll see how it affects, whatever part of the plot. And then it says 2 years later and then you see how it's working, how it's not working. I'd like that.
Yeah. I don't mind time jumps, honestly.
It can't be any worse than those damn movies.
Which ones?
To a certain extent.
6, 7, 8, or 7, 8, 9.
Oh, I haven't seen them. I've only seen 7.
Don't bother.
But anyway, I don't know. I think it's going to change things. But let's move on from Andor. I'm excited to see that one and where it goes. James Cameron.
Oh, God.
Avatar 2, baby. I'm so excited for this movie, and I'm more excited right now. And I'm just going to read this quote as I imagined he said it. Maybe not the tone that he said it in, but this is how I read it. In regards to the length of this movie, it's a 3-hour movie. Avatar 2 is. I don't want anyone whining about the length when they sit and binge watch TV for 8 hours. I can almost write this part of the review. The agonizingly long 3-hour movie. It's like, give me a fucking break. I watch my kids sit through 5 1-hour episodes in a row. Here's the big social paradigm shift that has to happen. It's okay to get up and go pee.
But who wants to go to the movie and get up and go pee?
And go take a piss.
I mean, it's one of those things when you're watching a movie, especially in a movie theater, you don't like to miss anything.
You're right.
But for me, too, like, there's a difference where, like, I'll binge watch something, but I'm going to get up and I'm going to go grab a drink, pee, do whatever I got to do for a little bit, come back, sit, watch an episode, watch another episode.
Yeah.
All binge watching really means that we can consume that content in a quick period of time, not necessarily sitting there for 3 hours. And here's my thing is I don't know why you need 3 hours to tell a story about blue people again.
It's going to be visually stunning.
For sure.
I mean, come on. The first one was amazing.
That's a big part of it. That's a big part of it is them flexing what movies can do now in terms of 3D and visuals. And I got to say, I agree with you, Noah. That first movie was visually just absolutely stunning.
Even if you didn't care for the story, it looked amazing.
Yeah. The way he built that world, and for them to go to a whole different continent, I'm imagining, on that planet to try to find. One thing they just need to fix is that the resource they want is unobtainium. That is just lazy writing. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
I don't know.
We're just trying to make 12 money bucks.
12 money bucks.
Like, unobtainium? Who the fuck wrote that?
Sorry, it was me. I was having a bad day.
You were, man. I got to know what happened. What happened on that day when somebody looked at unobtainium and was like, yep, that's great. I love that. It's a good idea. Could you name it literally anything else? I would have actually forgiven them calling it vibranium. Sure, it's vibranium, whatever.
Unobtainium. That's funny. Is that attest to James Cameron being able to do whatever he wants and everyone's like, this is amazing?
You know, James Cameron is one of those directors. It's him, Scorsese,
Kevin Smith.
I don't know about Kevin Smith.
Well, Clerks 3, don't you dare.
We talked about it last week. Nobody's more hyped in this room for Clerks 3 than I am.
High five.
But he has gotten plenty of scrutiny in his day. I'm sure he would tell you that.
There's a lot.
But James Cameron and Scorsese are the first two that come to my mind. Jordan Peele now is another one that people don't think can do any wrong whatsoever.
Yeah, I differ a lot from
Who's
that.
the guy that made Full Metal Jacket?
I don't know. Michael Bay gets a lot of shit. He's another premium director.
No, he's
though.
not.
And
Unless
so
you want to see things go boom.
And so is oh my God, what's his name? He's on everything now. He's the one who did some of the new Star Wars. Why can't I think of his name, guys?
Oh, J.J. Abrams?
know.
J.J. Abrams.
Because he
Thank
made
you.
Lost. Lost was amazing.
George Lucas is another one.
Steven Spielberg.
I don't know. I don't disagree with James Cameron on this one. And I love that he's attacking the critics because critics are ridiculous now. Critics are ridiculous.
I was seeing that.
They don't review movies objectively anymore. They just don't. They put them to their point of view, their narrative, which I get. But if you're going to be a critic for everybody, stop putting it in your, I don't know. That's
what makes
silly
it
because
so
we do
hard
the
to-
same thing.
And that's what's so hard about being a critic. It's your piece of, it's how you intake the
Right.
information that you're seeing.
But Siskel and
So-
Ebert used to be unbiased. They just told you the
No,
movie
they
was
did.
good or the movie wasn't good. They told you why it wasn't good or why. These guys are just crapping on movies for not for what the entertainment value is, but like even just like the wokeness of, I don't want to say woke, like the social justice warrior in the movie. Oh,
I'm going to
know
give you
what
an
trying to say?
example. I'm going to give you an example. There's no way to please everybody with media
Exactly.
anymore.
That's also true.
And I'm doing this right now with Seven Lamb Productions because we got an email from somebody that was like, I can't believe it. I just listened to every season of End of All Hope, and you guys don't have one black person in any of these series. First of all, he was wrong. Second of all, that's what he's upset about. He doesn't like it. And I said, please, sir, tell me, when you're listening to somebody's voice, how do you know if they're black?
So they want you to stereotype a voice.
Exactly.
Isn't that the whole point of
pretty
what
sure
you're
I'm
not
an End of All
supposed to
Hope.
do?
You are. You're in End of All Hope a
Yeah,
couple
I was
times.
gonna
And
say
my
that.
good friend Willis, he's in End of All Hope twice.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't tell. But on the other end of the spectrum, we got a message the other day on Facebook that says, I can't believe you guys had to give in to woke media and have a gay character. It's like,
Come on, bro.
guys, first of all, that's ignorant.
Yeah, it's
It's
the
just
22nd
silly.
century.
I mean-
21st century, whatever.
Come on, get over it. But you're never going to please everybody. And when you're reviewing films like that and you're finding one thing that you don't like and you're burying it, I love the critics that if they don't like it, they don't say anything. You know, if you don't like it, you're like, wasn't for me. You don't have to sit there and trash every single element of the art if you don't like it, because people are going to do that. And nowadays, that's what gets the clicks. Look at somebody like in the sports world, Stephen A. Smith. They like to find a certain item and bitch and complain and moan, and that's where they get their
And then
clicks, whether
backtrack.
it's valid or not.
Look at
I
Rotten
didn't say
Tomatoes.
that. I didn't say that.
Look at Rotten Tomatoes. If you look at the past Marvel movies, they've given them low scores, but the audiences have blown them up.
Yeah.
78, 80%. Look them up. Audience scores on all these past Marvel movies have been higher than the tomato meter or whatever the hell they call it.
It just seems unnecessary
tomato
stuff to be
meter.
complaining
Good
about.
point.
Yeah.
It just seems unnecessary stuff to be complaining about.
Right.
I'm going to make a pet tomato.
And now when we do
watch a
this,
movie.
we like to just say, it's our opinion. This is how we feel about it, instead of going out and publicly saying, this is trash. If I have something that I don't like, I'm going to be like, this is how I feel.
Yeah, that's
But
what
a
I
lot of
say,
these
too.
people
I'll
are
be
just
like,
going out and say and putting these values to it. 1 star. 1 star for you, maybe 6 stars for me.
someone else, exactly.
But it's hard for you as the creator to justify a 1 star, putting all your effort, time, and thing into it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to take it to entertainment because you're the entertainment guy. But I'll take it into cooking. Everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah.
Everybody does it differently.
Well, you've had this too
I have it all the time,
several times.
every day. at least once a day.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, it just happens. People's opinions are not. They're not based on like the facts. They're just based on like happy places and clouds.
Right. And you making something specifically for them.
Right.
And I'm sure there's been plenty of people that have listened to this show and been like, eh.
Yeah, but you make things on a specific level for like a worldwide audience because you have an audio drama that's being downloaded all over the continent.
Sure.
That's got to be harder than somebody just locally having a restaurant.
It's
to appease the world, you have to
It's
appease the world, basically.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's just telling a story. If they like it, they like it. They don't, they don't.
Right. And
I mean, this
that's the
podcast
funny
appease
part.
the world every week.
That's the funny part is if
But
they
that's what I'm
like
saying,
it,
though.
if they like it, they might tell you. If they don't like it, they'll definitely tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is
Unnecessary.
we stick with, you think about the negative way more than you think about the positive.
Yeah.
I could come up and tell you I love the End of All Hope and everything else 1,000 times, but I'll be like, yo, End of All Hope sucked. That guy who plays this character named Jack Austin,
Yeah.
and not one's going to bother him. He didn't care about the 1,000, but one's going to bother him.
Right.
I mean, Cop
So we're
Doctors
making
is the
shit.
greatest show, 7.
No, but he's absolutely right. Is because there have been so many people that go, this sounds like somebody just had their friends come in and record. Yeah, that's true.
That's exactly what
That's
happened.
exactly what we did.
winner, chicken dinner.
And that's
Wow, we
where I
must be
want to
doing
go.
something right.
No shit, right?
This one, my sweet Petunia, she talks me down all the time because I'm always writing responses and I'll send it to her or Rob or somebody and be like, should I say this? And they'll be like, how about we just reword it? And then they don't send any bit of it.
I have
If it's me, I'd let you fucking sing it.
I have done that to people that message the business on Yelp and all that when they say just like the most outlandish things.
Yeah.
And I type this to 3 paragraphs. Most of it are curse words.
Yep.
And then I delete it.
Yep.
Laura, like Megan does with you, Laura comes like, it's time to put the toys away.
Yeah.
Close the computer.
You remind me of John Favreau from Chef when he's like, "Come by tomorrow night. I got a brand new menu just for you, asshole."
Yeah. Sometimes
Anyway.
it's like that.
But I mean, there are times that somebody says something sideways about something in Seven Lamb, and I'm wanting to. I'm like, well, I can't I? But no, I can't because we're connected.
Yeah. Anyway,
I can though, so send them my way.
About to start having some of my friends, hey man, I need you to cuss this guy out.
well, that's the thing about some of these reviews is you can't respond to them.
Yeah.
None of them can't respond to a single one.
No.
So anyway, this is kind of bleeding into our main topic today. But the Duffer Brothers are creating a live action series for something that's been done before. I didn't think it was that great. The anime, however, I loved, and I felt like could have done better, so I'm excited. They are creating a live action series adaptation of the anime Death Note. Has anybody seen Death Note?
I have started watching it. I watched the movie. I understand the premise. It doesn't need to be touched.
The movie is not my favorite. I didn't enjoy it. That's okay. The anime is amazing. So basically, he receives this note that belongs to a demigod or a demon or whatever you want to call it. He writes a name in the book and how they die, and it happens. So basically, he walks in, Death Note, Jack Austin, knife through the head, and within a 24 hours, it's going to happen.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. This guy ends up getting a lot of power, and he starts doing things like
High school kid nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
high
a
school
high
kid.
school
High school
kid.
kid nonetheless.
Although the detective in that show is my favorite character.
His dad? No.
What he ends up telling people is like, a lot of people just die of heart attacks, so people just mysteriously die, and that's what happens. But anyway, I'm excited to see the Duffer Brothers touch that. I want to see where that goes. Let's take our first break of the day, and then we are going to get into some Marvel, which has got some stuff to talk about. Then we're going to talk about a little Stranger Things. So we will be right back, and you will be right there. You're not allowed to leave. There, I said it. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, here to talk about a little Marvel Studios for your ear holes. Are you ready?
I've been ready.
We've been waiting for a couple of folks who've made cameos. One of them in Spider-Man No Way Home. One of them in Marvel Studios Hawkeye. And that is Mr. Charlie Cox as Daredevil
Oh yeah.
and Mr. Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin.
Lucky.
The most amazing casting for Kingpin, might I add. I know.
Okay.
Better than Ving Rhames, or what the hell his name was.
He
Michael
was
Clark
not
Duncan?
better than Michael Clark Duncan in terms of the look.
120% disagree.
Okay, you're allowed. That's your opinion.
You're damn right I
Whether
am.
it's wrong or not. But they are both reprising their roles in the series Echo. And I have a theory on this. They've been watching some of these series drop off in viewership and lose people. Now, Ms. Marvel, I'm excited. I want her to be in the MCU. I have opinions on her show, which we'll talk about on that episode, but she is a somewhat larger name for people to know. All of these series have had people that a lot of comic enthusiasts are already well aware of and have drawn out histories. Echo might be one of them. I don't know much about her.
No idea.
But when you attach Kingpin and Daredevil to the Echo series, now you got some people. Do you think that's why they've added them to that series, or is there like deep lore that we're unaware of?
I don't know. I was saying the only Echo I know of is the one in Overwatch that they added recently.
I was going to say Echo the Dolphin, that video game, but
So
other
do
than
we
that-
recall the Hawkeye series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The young woman who had the prosthetics and was also deaf.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Echo.
That's Echo.
So she is getting her own series. And she
the
also
bad guy
had
that
the
walked up- okay, yeah,
father-daughter relationship with Kingpin, who, if memory serves, she shot him in the face
Yeah. Yep.
at the end of that series. So, do we think that's
she
just to help
shot
Echo
a
get a little
gun
boost?
off screen.
It is off screen. It is off screen, but in the comics, she shoots him in the eye.
Bring it. Who cares?
Are you gonna really bring do an entire show on her though?
They are. It's happening.
I mean, you shouldn't say show. Like, is she really gonna be that big of a part of the MCU
I think.
that she
I think Kingpin
garners
is
a
going to be a
show,
big part of the
is
MCU.
what I should say.
Yeah. I think this, and we've talked about this a couple times, and this is one of the things that they want to talk about with Thor, which I'm going to kind of briefly touch on today, is that there's no direction for Phase 4, and that's because I've been saying that they are trying to develop different facets of the Marvel Universe. Street level, Avengers level, even though there isn't going to be Avengers, and the cosmic level. And I think Echo is to try to further along the street level.
Yep.
When they moved all the Netflix show like Daredevil and stuff to Disney, they were
Yeah.
talking about making like this big Daredevil Spider-Man in Harlem fighting like local villains. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could that be like that encompassing where they're trying to build separate characters and then bring them all together for either a movie?
That's what I've been calling that street level thing. And I don't think we're going to get street level. First thing, I don't think we're going to get a street level movie. I think all of that's going to get handled on Disney Plus. And for second of all, I don't think we for a single frame see Spider-Man on Disney Plus, because as of right now, we haven't seen Tom Holland on anything except for Civil War and the 2 Avengers movies. So I don't think we're going to see him at that level. I think Tom Holland is a bit of a big star to be in a Disney Plus series, but I'd love to be wrong.
But you could do a Miles Morales show, and it could be like an offset to it. You know, and all these time jumps, all these like the timeline things. It could be even from another dimension. Who the hell knows? They've even opened
You're not
that
wrong.
door.
But they can't do Miles Morales because they don't have the rights to him.
Yeah,
He's
that's
a
exactly
Spider-Man
what I was going to say. Is that is the one multiverse that Marvel clearly can't go to is the Sonyverse.
Sony just needs to give up because their movies are god awful.
Go ahead and write that check, Disney.
Disney is, I
Please
think,
write that
going
check.
to eventually write that check, and it won't matter. It won't matter. Whatever money Disney decides to spend on something like Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse, even if it's a couple $1 billion, they'll make that back.
Easily.
They'll make it back with 3 movies. First
what
thing
I'm
they
saying,
got to do
do
is say, hey, we're doing live action. We're going to have Peter Parker and Miles Morales. Say less. We're going to have Peter Parker and Miles Morales fight Venom. You've got one of the largest Marvel movies of all time right there.
Spider-Man, Venom, Carnage. I don't even care about the rest. Put those together, done correctly by a studio that is competent,
Sure.
and you're done.
Yep.
I mean, have you seen Morbius? And they're making a second one.
I have not seen Morbius
Somebody just
because
get
I'm
that
waiting
check
for
from
that to come out in the bargain bin. and I'll watch it while she's on vacation.
They were already greenlit a
Arguing
Morbius
a way to
Literally
be on
free
an
somewhere.
airplane and have be forced to watch it.
There you go. There you go. No, I like that.
Nope, I'd still sleep.
No, I like that idea.
I
snore
agree
too
with
loud, so I
Megan,
can't
though.
sleep.
I agree with Megan 100%. It's not even like worth.
I don't know.
Your time.
I think that's so. Back to Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio here in Echo. I think that's developing the street level stuff. It's building relationships. I'd love to see Luke Cage come back too. Who knows?
I don't want to see the Iron Fist ever again.
I don't want to see that Iron Fist. Ever
Okay,
again.
fine. If that's fine. That Danny Rand, that surfer kid from
Yeah.
California, can
Yeah.
literally go away.
The one who said he didn't want to do any of the martial arts to prepare for a character named Iron Fist. That one.
Is that why it looked so bad?
Yeah.
That's awful.
So that big fight with the young lady who was actually the star of that show. The
his
young
girlfriend?
lady who was kind of the love interest. She was also like a ninja. That big fight scene she has in the cage was supposed to be Iron Fist, but he didn't want to train. He didn't want to do it. So they go, we'll put her in.
Another disappointing show.
So hold on, I mean Danny Trenton, whatever his name is, the guy
Danny
that
Rand.
plays him, bro. That guy is a goat.
Why?
I would. Hey man, we're
He
gonna
just
hire
loves.
you
He
for
just loved
a
it.
job to play a guy named Iron Fist, and you got to learn karate. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show up. I don't give a fuck about the martial arts. Netflix, y'all cash that check, and boom, done. The guy's a fucking
Doesn't even have to do
boss.
the job and still gets
I
paid.
like
I'm
it. However,
telling
you know what's more boss is being that character well and then getting signed for $1 bajillion to do more of it. Like
Except you're the worst.
so
show
he
out
he
of
got
four.
the worst show, the worst reviews, and I don't think I've seen him in anything since.
Hey,
You got that
still
next
got
Netflix
paid.
money and Rand, like this guy
Yeah.
said.
That's
What was your
that's
favorite
still
for the
ridiculous to
Defenders?
me, though.
Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones was by far
That's my boy.
to me the best. I love Jessica Jones season 1. That to me of all of it, including the Defenders, was the best season of all.
Jessica Jones was a better show out of all of them, even though
I mean, I loved Daredevil. He was great. Punisher season 1, great. Punisher season 2 for me fell off a little bit, but Jessica Jones, it's all good. I love Jessica. But
That's
yeah,
what I'm really waiting for. That they need to make that a Disney series. I don't care.
yeah.
I want to see the Punisher.
Oh,
On
I
Disney?
think he's going to come to more. Well, they've already said that there was gun violence in Moon Knight, and he shot people, so they're going to put Punisher on Disney Plus.
But Punisher's gun violence is on another level than
You're right.
like some
You're right.
guns
But
from
hey,
like
since
World
they're-
War II.
Since they're willing to do mature content, I'm all for it.
Do you change the Punisher? Or do you keep the same? Do you keep
Absolutely.
Bernthal?
Oh, you
or
mean
whatever?
John Bernthal?
Yeah.
He's already said he'll come back for it.
Well, yeah. Wouldn't anybody?
And Disney is going to do him absolutely perfectly. If they're going to do Deadpool, how are you going to say yes to Deadpool and no to Punisher?
Yeah,
Because it's a movie.
Right, but Deadpool is known to slice and shoot.
A movie.
Right, but Punisher can get all that.
I don't care what capacity you put the Punisher in. I want to see it done.
Right. That's
would be-
one that he wants to watch.
He would be part of that whole street level
Oh yeah,
thing you're talking about versus the Kingpin
top tier.
with Charlie Cox
Yeah, but
and
he
Spider-Man.
doesn't. He doesn't generally like travel in a pack. He's kind of alone.
He absolutely refuses to. He's
Right.
been approached by a
So,
lot of people.
He could certainly be a street level, but it would be like it wouldn't make sense for him to like tag up.
No, but he would
I
show
doubt
up
he
like
would.
one episode. He would
Yeah.
blow up a building for them, and then he'd be like, "Screw you guys, I'm out."
And it would, well, see, that's the problem with Punisher is he's the wrench in the chain, right? It doesn't matter if you have Spider-Man, you have Daredevil, you have whoever. When the Punisher shows up, everybody's trying to fight the Punisher, the good guys and the bad guys.
Because he doesn't see the line between good and bad. He just sees everybody must go.
It's not that he doesn't see it. His line's just a little further up than everyone else's. Anyway, so Captain America 4, baby. He's landed a director, Mr. Julius Ona, who was the director of the Cloverfield Paradox.
Oh wow,
Disney has already
That's
signed
interesting.
him to come
that's
in
interesting.
and
choice.
do Captain America 4 with Anthony Mackie. Let's get it.
So, never mind. We'll talk about it next week.
Oh, on Thor?
Yeah, I'm just. we'll talk
boy.
about Marvel directors. Like we need to make that a part of what we're talking about next week.
Oh, you.
We absolutely will.
fuck.
Speaking of directors, James Gunn is back in our lineup, guys. Chris Pratt has come out and said, I can say with utter confidence that James Gunn has made a true masterpiece, and I can't wait for people to see it.
I hope he doesn't go the Peacemaker route. That's all I'm hoping.
Peacemaker was incredible. I will kick you out of this room.
Yeah, I'd watch it. I'd watch it several times if it was like Peacemaker.
I don't know. The music choices were good, but I couldn't tell if it was like an action show or like a musical. At one point in time, I'm trying to figure out, what are we doing? Like, the only thing I really paid attention to in that show was Vigilante, because Vigilante needs his own show.
It's really clear that you didn't pay attention to Peacemaker, because the only time there's even a dance sequence is in the opening credits.
Opening credits, yeah.
There's no dancing.
That's the only thing. You know why? Because that's the only damn memorable part of that whole show.
Wow.
That and Vigilante.
Then you didn't watch it.
I did watch the whole show, the entire thing.
Were you sober?
Were you? Yeah. That's my follow-up question.
Am I ever?
All right.
Only when I'm working.
You don't get any say in that because Peacemaker was incredible. So let's talk about directors. Taika Waititi. This is the only thing I wanted to touch on. He says he created a Thor fans wouldn't really want. And what he meant by that was that Thor in Love is what fans didn't want.
But why?
Objection.
That doesn't make any sense.
Objection, Your Honor. We don't care about Thor in Love. We care about Thor doing a version of Naked Gun in goddamn Thor Love and Thunder.
And can we hold on for a second? Because he didn't create a character in Thor in Love. That was in the second Thor movie, in which he did not direct. So technically,
well, he was in love with Jane in the first one too.
Whatever.
And
sure,
in the second one.
Sure. The first and the second one. You're right. So technically, Taika did not create Thor being in love in the MCU.
Yeah,
that happened movies before him.
I agree.
Second of all, nobody hates the fact that he was in love with Jane Foster.
At all. Nobody.
Literally nobody. That would I'm done.
What are you talking about? I hated the fact that he loved Jane.
Oh, jeez. How dare you
I
make
wanted
somebody...
him to love me.
Didn't
you got me, Taika.
Oh, boy. All right, let's move on from Thor, because we got a whole episode of Thor next week, so we got lots of things to talk about.
But didn't Thor fall in love with Black Widow and Captain Marvel?
False.
He's never been in love with Black Widow.
Or
not in the
Captain
MCU.
Marvel
But
at all.
he was looking her down. He's like, I got you.
No, he just said,
was not.
I like this one, is
Yeah.
all he says about her.
Because he wanted to go
He
and
tried
kill
to
Thanos.
intimidate her.
He wanted to... Well, that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah,
it was like,
he
hey,
was-
new guy, let's see what you got. So he walked up with the intimidating presence and called Stormbreaker
And
right
she
in front of
didn't
her
even
face.
flinch.
And she was looking at him like, what's up? And that's why he's like, okay, I like her. Let's go.
Not like, hey, let's go, have some wine and
Do you
then
think
bang.
Thor would say no?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yes.
Is Jane already gone?
Do you know how old Thor is? I don't think any woman in the world is going to grab Thor and him be like, oh, man, I can't live without you.
But
Anyway, let's move on. We're doing too much Thor.
Technically,
Clap like
in Thor:
Jason,
Love and Thunder, there's some him smooching all over different people there in the beginning. But that's
Exactly. All right. So excellent point. Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. I want to real quick. We're going to go around the table and we're going to rank the Phase 4 MCU movies top to bottom, best to worst. So let me pull up the list because I got them right here. And I want you
just
guys
Phase
to
4?
really quick,
of where we
just
are
Phase
right
4.
now?
And
Fucked.
this disclosure does not include the shows, the series. So you don't have to
Okay.
worry about that. So let's jump into Instagram. Yes, Alter Ego popped right up, man. Alter Ego's got a great Instagram. I really like them. I want to follow them, and I want to like their stuff and comment like. A couple of our wonderful
Spider-Man
fans.
best, Eternals worst.
Okay, so let's do this. You got Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder. I'm going to go first. Make it easy. I got at the very top, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Right, 1A, 1B, right close, snipping the heels. I got Spider-Man No Way Home. Then I have got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Black Widow, Thor Love and Thunder, Eternals.
Okay.
So we're going to go to you next.
Sure.
Then we'll go to Ryan and Nello.
Try to remember these movies.
I got you. Don't worry.
I got Spider-Man: No Way Home,
Okay.
Doctor Strange: The Multiverse, Black Widow, Thor: Love and Thunder, Shang-Chi, and then Eternals. Only because I liked Shang-Chi, but I was just I don't know, it didn't grab me so
Okay.
much. And
I love
I feel
Shang-Chi.
like Thor and Shang-Chi are probably pretty, and Black Widow are probably all kind of. But Black Widow just came out on top because of
I love
what's her name?
Florence Pugh.
Yes, she made that movie for me.
All right, what you got, Ryan?
Spider-Man.
I don't think this is a wrong answer. I wouldn't disagree with anybody who put Spider-Man first.
You're only wrong if you say
Spider-Man
Eternals first.
Eternals. Spider-Man.
The big shock. We all have heart attacks.
Then I'm going to shake it up. I actually like Shang-Chi.
Okay.
Okay.
Then
that's a
Doctor
good one.
Strange.
Shang-Chi was the bomb.
Black Widow.
Okay.
And then the Eternals.
Then what about Thor?
And then
Oh, that's a movie?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
You're not
gonna
putting
hate my
you're not
list.
putting Eternals
Love and
over
Thunder.
Y'all
Thor.
gonna hate my
Then
list.
Thor. My fault.
Love and
Thor,
Thunder, then
Thor, and then
Eternals.
Eternals.
Then Eternals.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear it, Nella, since we're gonna hate it.
So it's gonna go Thor. I thought this movie was
That's
amazing.
fine.
I thought this movie was amazing. Black Widow.
I loved it
Okay.
too.
I
to be
love
honest.
Black Widow. So good.
Spider-Man.
Okay.
What was the other ones? I'm sorry.
You've got Doctor Strange,
Doctor
Shang-Chi,
Strange.
and Eternals.
and then Shang-Chi and Eternals can go die. in
Wow.
5.
Why didn't you like Shang-Chi?
I think so. The premise of Shang-Chi is great,
Yeah.
but when you like,
I think they have one of the best villains the MCU has seen yet.
oh, I don't know, that whole dragon thing when they get to the
I'm
crazy
talking about his
land.
dad. I'm talking about his dad.
I like the dad part, but then like you deviate to it and it becomes too supernatural. This dragon
You
comes out.
didn't like
A little
that it
bit
had
too
a
much
I didn't like
magic.
that. I didn't like if they would have stopped it at the first hour and a half. I'm game.
To
that
me-
last half hour, just throw it away.
To me, the onion had a lot more layers than I was expecting, and I freaking dug it. Because I was like, oh, it's going to be a family. Okay, so we're going to get a cool kung fu scene. And then I was like, oh, God, there's so much more. But anyway, hey, no disrespect, but I think the common denominator for all of us was Eternals at the bottom.
Yep.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I've tried to watch it again
There wasn't
with
any,
Why?
a
Did you lose a bet?
optimistic mind.
Did you lose a bet?
And I thought to myself, I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to see, what the thought is here. And I think the Eternals served their purpose only to introduce Celestials to the MCU.
there wasn't enough extracurriculars to make the
But
Eternals
see,
good.
here's my thing. If you know Marvel, you already know what a Celestial is. You didn't need that movie.
Right. But to show them, it's like we talked about with Avatar 2. That's a big flex.
But why?
Because they're a massive part of the universe, especially if you're looking for a Phase 4 cosmic level threat. Because
You
when
could
you
do the
introduce the
cosmic without
Celestials, then you're introduced somebody I thought was going to show
I feel
up.
like we're really kind of missing the mark here in Phase 4, but that's my personal opinion. We'll talk more about that next week.
we will.
when We're
Same
diving
with
into
me.
Thor.
Like I said,
I
I've
agree
said it
with that.
before, and I
Yeah.
was just going to
I agree with
reiterate.
It's like a lot of wheel spinning. There's no direction.
yeah,
into
there's
this
no
phase.
there's literally no connection at all. We have
It's
There
either
really
that.
isn't.
It's either that or we haven't seen it yet.
But we know the future of the Marvel movies, and it's not like with Phase 1 where you've got the future of an Avengers matchup or anything like that, to where it literally has something that pulls them all together. I don't know what movie that is in the near future is going to tie all of this together for it to make sense.
I just want to say that we didn't realize that Thanos 1 or the Infinity Stones 2 were in play until Thor the Dark World. Sure, Tesseract is introduced in Captain America, the First Avenger, but it's called the Tesseract, not the Space Stone. So unless you were a hardcore fan and knew what that was going on, you really didn't know that that was the Space Stone. You didn't know it until the end credits of Thor 2 when he goes, we're going to keep the ether here. And he's like, oh, yes, another Infinity Stone, 1 down, 5 to go. Then you were like, oh, okay, so now they're building towards that. And then at the end of, which one was it? Avengers, you had Thanos grab the gauntlet and say, fine, I'll do it myself, or just look at the end of the movie, and that was the introduction of Thanos. Think of how many movies came before that. You know what I'm saying? So this might be the slow burn, and maybe there's something we're missing. I think much more of Phase 4's plot is being built through the TV show Loki.
Oh my God, we're on the same. Give me right here, brother. I agree 120%.
I don't disagree
But
there.
see, I don't really see. I don't know.
There's ties, like even in
there's-
Thor, you can see the similarities in just like the symbolism. We can't talk about Thor. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll do Thor.
But
Next
there's,
week.
There's no. There's
We
no
may
more
just
Avengers,
dedicate an
though.
entire episode to Thor in Phase 4 next week.
I'm fucking ready. If you
Let's
need
do
me,
it.
call me. Tag me in, coach.
All right,
Sorry,
so
my
let's
bad.
do this.
Oh,
Let's
no,
do
you're
Let's
this.
get into this.
We're going to take
there's no ties,
a second break because we got a lot to talk about with Stranger Things. So what we'll do is we'll take
We
another
do?
break, and then we're going to get into Stranger Things. Okay? Sound good? Good. Great. Be back in a minute. Love you. Bye. No, I love you more. No, I love you more. No, stop it. I love you more. Okay, see you in a minute. And we're back. Sorry I yelled, but we're back.
You just told me I couldn't leave.
Let's talk about Stranger Things Part 2.
I'll go to bed. You guys talk about that.
This is This is some of the longest Stranger Things we've had to do in terms of sitting through these 2 episodes. I felt like these 2 episodes were longer than all of part 1.
Yep, and didn't even need to be.
Oh, stop
Much
it.
like this series. I'm just going to throw it out there.
High five. I agree with him, by the way.
Did you watch it?
I watched the first 2 seasons.
You haven't watched volume
I don't
2
need-
of
I don't.
season 4?
No.
Excuse me.
See,
Jacob.
you know what? You're lucky you're not a regular on a podcast and you have to watch this stupid shit.
Not a big fan of foreplay, are you, boys?
Nope.
You just like to get to wham
Well,
bam
we can
and call
talk
it
about
a day.
it.
Hey, I just get in there and
'Cause
have
I
that
loved
cheeks
this
and I'm
shit.
out.
Just I
Actually, I don't even think I finished the second season. I think I
think
just watched the
there's
first.
development that had to happen. Sure, is there stuff that was wasteful and didn't have to be there? Absolutely,
course.
aka the entire Russian segment. But I felt Hawkins and the gang did a great job in this one. I don't know.
It's the same as the first season, same as the second season, same as the fucking third season. It's all the fucking same.
So
It's not.
elaborate.
Same thing. Threat. 11 saves everybody.
Mm-hmm.
What the? And I'm just tired of it. Like, this did not turn out to be what I thought Stranger Things was going to be. Like, I don't know. I'm just tired of the kids. Like, it was cool they went to the Upside Down finally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, so here we go. They're going to go in there and fuck some shit up. No, nothing happens.
So it was just 11 that did everything.
Oh, my bad. Eddie played a mean guitar solo of Metallica, Master of Puppets.
So just
for no reason.
Just
Was
11.
that solo worth watching? Because I'll find the episode and watch that part.
His solo, actually.
Oh,
was pretty
it's
dope.
Okay.
amazing.
I'll check
So
that out.
just 11 and Eddie then?
Yeah, for the most part.
No.
They're the ones who killed Vecna? Got it.
There is a
not dead.
massive effort of teamwork in the last 2 episodes
Yeah.
of this season.
Yeah, there is.
To where there's no way that Elle would have been able to do any of that on her own. In all honesty, she, at the end of the show, is strapped to this motherfucking front door of his gross, vined out, nasty ass house. And
You don't
yeah,
talk
she
about her
does.
father's house that way.
She does play quite a bit of a role in saving and everything, but it's certainly not her that sacrifices everything, that dies, that sets up the whole plan. She wasn't a part of any of that.
So are you disappointed or happy with it?
I'm
I
happy
can't
with
figure
it.
it out. Oh, so you liked it.
So
Okay, so go over this plan. This is one of the things
I was very happy with it as well.
I was
we
very
didn't
happy
go
with
there
the
yet.
plan.
I know you're jumping to get your fucking 2 cents in.
This
I can
pla-
see it.
As I'm watching this, I'm like, this makes absolutely no sense. This doesn't even need to happen. Why is this happening?
okay, so Vecna cannot be killed unless it is in the Upside Down. So the plan is that half the team was going into the Upside Down. They had to lure away the threats, basically a security alarm.
Can I press pause on you for that?
Sure.
You're the queen of the recap. Why don't you just give us a overview of season 4, part 2? So essentially, you've got the team.
Okay,
split
they're
up,
executing a plan to kill Vecna.
right, but
and
you've got half the team.
The only way to
split up.
do that is to split the team into basically 4 teams. Right? Is it 4? It doesn't matter. Split the team up. Half the team is in the Upside Down because that's the only way to kill him in body.
Which is Steve,
Which
Eddie,
is Steve,
Robin,
Eddie, Robin, Dustin, and Nancy.
Nancy.
They're the 5 that go down there. They're split into 2 teams with Eddie and Dustin on one and the other 3 together. Then there's the team that stays out in not the Upside Down, in reality.
First of all,
who-
if I ever see that extra or that actor that pinned down Princess Applejack, he's getting these hands.
Oh, yeah, we're
right?
beating his
He's
ass.
getting all
he
the
ate that
hands.
flashlight and it kicked
As
his
soon
nuts,
as,
so, you know.
as soon as he put his hands on my princess, I was upset.
Yeah.
So do I think the plan would have worked without Elle? Probably not fully, necessarily. That shit would have happened without her, that's
But
for
see,
sure.
that's the thing is they didn't even communicate this all together.
They weren't, well, I mean,
So
it's in the
the team
80s,
that was
so
doing-
how would they have?
That's my point, though. Like, you had one team doing one thing, one team that was doing something else on their own, and just happened to all happen at the same time.
So Elle knew what the plan was. She knew
She
when it was going to be
figured,
executed because she saw into the mind of,
What's her face? Yeah, I get
Right.
that.
Maxine.
so she knew the plan was coming. She knew what was happening and knew that there was X amount of time basically to get it all sorted out and figured out. So the fact that it all aligns and it's coincidental as far as the time goes, sure, maybe.
That's my other gripe. She was technically in Max's mind, right?
Yes.
How the hell she get to the Upside Down to fight Vecna?
She
She's in
didn't.
Max's
She was
mind.
in the mind. Yeah, it was all a mental battle.
See,
Max wasn't in the Upside Down either. She was in the real world. That whole battle took place in her mind.
in the head.
That's why the people who had to attack him physically were Steve,
had to
Robin,
be
and Nancy.
physically in the Upside Down because
So there were two fights happening
No,
at the same
I get
time.
that. Yeah.
So Vecna only operates basically in the mind, in the right side up, I guess I can call it.
In the real world.
So he only
In the right
operates-
side up. I'm calling it that from now on.
in the right side
What's
up.
happening in the right side up?
He can only operate through the mind. His body physical form has not, at least from what we've seen, has not breached back into the right side up from the upside down. So his physical body it has to be, in order for him to do that, it has to be anchored into the one place in the upside down.
Right.
So the plan is to lure him there, make sure he's anchored there so that he can connect to the
So
upside down
that's
and
why
he
they
can
said-
mentally so they can have his body there basically vulnerable and they could kill him in the upside down.
That's why Maxine walked into the house saying, "You ain't shit, Vecna. You can't do nothing." Was talking shit the whole time. That was just to make sure that he went into his little trance to try to grab her.
Yeah.
Right.
Who needs to watch the show? I have Megan.
Yeah, I got the
Exactly.
whole. Did,
Like,
did
literally.
that make sense?
You
with
should
everything I
hear her.
said?
You should hear her
Yeah.
recap our D&D sessions. It's like you're there.
Well, I'm reading something that's a little bit different.
That's what That's what we should do. We should do a side series where we
I
just
just
have
recap?
you talk about the D&D.
Oh, I'd be so down for that.
Yeah.
I'd be so down for that. Screw the book that I plan on writing. But
She
anyways,
does plan on writing a book about our D&D session.
Well, that's awesome. You can
I've
make
already
movies.
She's
shown-
already got
I've already-
2 source books fully completed.
Yeah,
Oh my
I've got
God, that's
2
movie
full-
material right there.
Yeah. So anyway, if we're going to talk about if we loved it or hate it, I loved it. I think that it was done very well. I think that we lost 1 or 2 people that
Okay.
I think we've lost one that is gone, and that makes me kind of sad. I don't think there's any way he's coming back.
Ooh, Eddie?
Yeah.
Died in the upside down, bitten by bats?
Let's do this.
Be a vampire.
Let's do this. Let's do a good, the bad, and the ugly
Okay.
of this series.
Okay.
Okay? Let's start with the good.
It ended.
The good
High five.
was the plot moving forward. Like, we've complained about other things with no plot movement. Nothing happens. You said that things were repetitive. I disagree. I think every time that Ella's had to fight something, she's been there. She's done that. And the rest of the team was kind of inconsequential or just there. I mean, the only thing they've done was throw firecrackers at a big flesh monster. So this time, her not
Lucas.
having to be the first one to
what
do
did
things.
they do this time, though?
What do you mean?
It's the same people
They
that say
created the whole
Hopper
plan.
stopped it.
Well, they created the
Hopper
whole
stopped
plan.
one thing. Hopper stopped the one thing in Russia, so anyway, let's go back with
And
the
if
good.
you knew that it was going to make everything else like them get undone because
Because it's a hive
mind.
brain,
Exactly.
hive mind.
So I saw that coming. But
So I still think that whole let's finish the good before we get to the bad and the ugly.
beefing
The
right
good
now.
was the moving forward and the looking forward to season 5. The visuals were good. A lot of the performances were good. Clearly, everybody loved Eddie. One good thing is that Steve was able to make it through, and I didn't have to listen to this one cry and bitch over Steve. So that's my good. What was your good? You can't sit here and tell me that whole series was bad.
There had to be something good about it. I have to agree with him.
There's good stuff in Eternals.
No, there
No,
isn't.
there's not.
Yeah,
No,
there
there
is.
isn't.
Yeah, there's
credits.
No. Stop.
No, the fighting and all that stuff.
Come
Fastos,
on.
he was awesome. The
no.
speedster chick, she was amazing.
Yeah, you crave for that. I don't really know. I'm trying to figure out what.
Okay,
I thought
you
was-
figure it out.
Actually, Eddie's solo that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was
he
dope.
got one. He got one.
Visually,
That was
it's
cool.
impressive.
And I'm just I don't know. I am so about this show to be
Okay,
quite honest.
let's get to you. We got a half hour.
I'm not gonna go a half an hour on the good. I loved that. I mean, I really liked the whole thing. If I'm connecting volume 1 and volume 2 of season 4, I think the whole thing really wrapped up well and came together. I have to agree that Eddie's solo was amazing. That was awesome. I think the way that they teamed up and came together to create that plan was awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously, things didn't go exactly the way that they were hoping they would go, and I like that it does leave it kind of opened for what could come out of season 5. I have some of my own personal little fan theories that I think are going. I don't think Vecna's dead, first and foremost.
No, you're right.
And I loved Dustin and Eddie's relationship, and I
Sure.
loved the development that Steve and even Nancy had. I know that's kind of a girly romantic thing to say.
Hey, that's
but
a
it's
big
kind
part
of,
of people that
full
listen.
circle.
So
Right. I think it's kind of like a full circle for Steve as a character, which he's one of my favorites naturally, and most probably women who watch that show love him for some reason. But his character was great, and he just this just really showed who he was as a character. Him and Robin's relationship was good. I just liked all of it. Like I really could probably go on for 30 minutes, but
Okay.
I think that it was visually amazing. It was very captivating. It was crazy how it was all connected with Hopper and everybody in Russia and them on their way, 11 and them on their way and her through
11,
the mine
Mike,
and,
Will,
right, and then
his
Darren
brother,
Hawkins. Like I just think
whose
that it was
name I can't remember. Jonathan.
it was just I liked how it all came together.
Okay.
And we'll see what happens season 5. That's supposedly a time jump.
They say season
So-
5 is where you figure out what the upside down actually is. So, okay,
Right.
that's 3 goods. I don't know how much we need to spend on bad with Ryan. We know it's all bad for him. But
Nah,
for
Luke
me,
is still a bitch.
the bad for
I
me
don't know.
was
I think-
the whole Russia thing. Russia did not need to be such a prominent part of this series.
I think-
Hopper didn't need to go there for this
Yeah.
story to move the way that it did. They could have had him still be in Hawkins and have this undercover Russian base if you need the Russian aspect
I mean,
of it.
they
And
had
you
that
could
in
have
series
still
3.
had all the same stuff that you had without having to do a cross-continent movement there to Russia. You didn't need that. I felt like some of this stuff with the stereotypical angry military guy who wasn't willing to listen to anything and all he wanted to do was torture and kill people. That to me was really cliche and, to be honest, really unnecessary. I felt the clash between the military factions of the people who were helping Paul Reiser. God, I hope you're still with us, Paul Reiser. The Papa character I could give a shit about.
Yeah, I don't like him.
But that whole thing, I was like, this is clunky. I don't need this. Let's get back to the people that we actually care about. And, taking 11 away from everybody, it didn't make me feel a sense of, oh my God, 11's not there. They all felt still very capable without her. So,
Did they though?
yeah,
think
they
so.
did. They had a plan.
I mean, they had a plan that they were executing, whether or not she
they
had
weren't,
a hand
they
or
weren't
foot into it
inept
at all.
without her.
Right, exactly.
See,
And they had a
that's-
good plan. It just happened to.
So what's your
where,
bad?
That's where I differ. Like you said that he could have stayed in Hawkins, and that's where there would have been like a same repeat thing to me. It would have been Hopper
Sure.
saving the day. He kind of, like I said,
So-
did technically in Russia.
That's a
But-
theory to me, is why they did that. Is because almost every time the adults get involved,
And that's what I'm saying.
big things happen.
And that's kind of what I'm saying. Is it seems like the same. It's either L and then Hopper, and then they save him. Like that's my biggest beef. Mike is off hanging out in a pizza place eating slices while L's doing her thing. Her and
Sure.
them and Will. None of the kids actually really do anything, which was when you introduce these 4 characters, that these friends in this party, I expected them to be doing more of the work
Yeah.
still. And I was hoping that this was going to be that episode where it was going to happen.
I got to be honest, the only one who did any work in this crew that's not L is Lucas and Max. They do the most work of everybody.
And I feel like
well,
Dustin
Lucas or him an ass
contributes
whooping.
quite a bit with Eddie.
Dustin was there for the countdown.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe there for the countdown, and he hack and slashes some of the bat things,
the
but I
ones
guess
that are
not
already
enough.
dead when he gets there.
And I honestly
that's
see that was another scene to me I didn't need, because they made it almost all the way there without the bats messing with him, and then he has the guitar solo.
Well, no. The point
No,
the point of that was not to get there and get rid of them. It was for them to get the distraction once they were there. It
Yep.
wasn't for them to be gone by the time they got there. It was for them to get there and then have something to pull the bats away.
Yeah, they needed
so that's
to pull
that's
them
my
away
bad.
from the mansion.
Let's keep going with yours.
Oh no, yeah, okay, so. But then he had the tentacles, so like it's not either way. Vecna knew they were coming.
He
It's
said
not-
that too.
Yeah, like either way, that's what I'm saying. Like that, it's kind of a wash to me. You would have thought that they would have figured this out maybe
Sure.
right now. You know what I mean? Like it's the upside down. This guy, everything that moves, he's intact with.
Right.
So
Even if one of the bats saw them,
Yeah.
party's over.
exactly, and then him going to die, Eddie dying for no reason. Like that was just.
I don't think he died for no reason.
I don't think so
he
either.
died
I think
because
he sacrificed himself.
he thought
What
the
did he
bats.
sacrifice, though?
He thought the
For what?
bats were all going to fly into that portal, and then those hundreds of bats were going to attack the city. So he
Right.
felt by him running off and taking them
He
with
was
him,
taking them
he
with
stopped
him.
them from doing it.
Right.
Oh, you mean stop them, killing them, and then just going in the portal anyway? Like, see what I'm like? It doesn't. It's not logical.
Well,
doesn't
it just
make
didn't
sense.
match up with the plan you had in your head. But I get what he was
No,
doing.
it's not logical. Just like it made no sense when Dustin he drops down. They could have just went in that thing with the bats in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. This show to me is just.
Okay. What were you going to say, Noah?
It's mid as fuck.
So I don't know this show, but you guys have done a pretty good job of explaining it to me in this episode.
Okay.
I read the Millie Bobby
Millie
the hell,
Bobby Brown.
and the directors, and she's like, "Oh, I don't like the way the show went. I'm disappointed at the direction. Nobody died. Like, this is not what it was supposed to be." And from what I just heard, he's got the same kind of opinion.
You know,
Where like
that's
nobody
because-
like I haven't seen the show, so I'm not going to say it's good or bad, but it just sounds like these main characters are just invincible.
Let's take a look at
They
some
don't
of
even
these
do anything
main.
to really get hurt.
That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe she's right.
Let's look at some of the big shows of the past several years. Game of Thrones, where everybody dies.
Except
You've
for
got the
Starks.
Umbrella Academy, where people get capped left and right.
True.
And then you've got what I say, Game of Thrones, and then The Boys, and people die every episode in that show. So everybody gets conditioned that everybody has to die, and then these things don't happen. And you're like, this sucks. But I mean, it's a TV show. Not everybody has to have blood and guts, especially for a Netflix show that's trying to get a bigger audience than the rated R crew. So this just wasn't rated R. It wasn't super, super adult. You are following a group of kids.
I don't
Nobody
think she
comes
meant
out of
that, though.
Pocahontas thinking, man, she didn't skin a single deer on screen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about the audience it's trying to reach to.
I don't think she meant it as like a rated R blood and gore. I think she meant it in like he said, like these main characters. What the hell are they doing?
I
Her
don't know.
crew, where are they? I didn't watch the show.
Well,
I'm
you know,
going off of
they
what-
had a lot of characters in a lot of real danger. Just none of them had consequences that were irreversible. None of them, except for Eddie or Max, had things that they really couldn't.
So
get away
I
with.
will say, I mean,
What's-
and
what's
Max
your
was
bad?
one of the
And
four
Jason.
cores, so you knew. I don't know. I get what he's saying. Like,
Oh, I didn't say it. Billy,
yeah,
Billy
but,
Bob
like, what
Brown
she's
or
saying-
whatever.
They're
She didn't write the show. I really could give a shit less.
I
what
was
she
just-
thinks.
yeah,
no,
I
I
was
get you. I get you. I'm just saying.
But I mean, that tells you something as an actress on the show. She's even like, you know what I mean? Like,
But is she a
nobody
head
died,
case
but-
because the fame went to her head? She thinks she's unstoppable, or is it because it's bad? That's all.
I mean,
I can't say that I didn't watch
the show is not the worst thing I've ever watched.
It's really not.
It doesn't drive me to watch it. If it wasn't for this podcast, I wouldn't watch this show. That's
Yeah.
what I'm going to say. It's,
So
But
overall,
hey-
it was bad for you then.
but yeah, it's not a like.
That's the beautiful thing is I'm so happy we're not all on here like, God, I loved it. It was the greatest thing ever. And this is just a big crazy fest. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people who feel
Yeah.
like you do.
Like, I'm gonna season 4. It picked up a lot for me considering the 3 seasons that I watched before. I was like, okay. And then the last 2 episodes, when the second half, I'm like, all right, I'm looking forward to this. And then the 2 episodes happened, and I'm like,
Sure.
yeah, there wasn't much going on. The best thing out of that 4 hours was a 2-minute Master Puppet solo.
I mean, hey.
that he
it's-
actually learned to play, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your bad?
I already did my bad, didn't
What
I?
was it?
Oh, and that the one boy, the jock kid, got off easy. I
He
wanted
did.
him to die slow and painfully by Vecna.
I don't know. I'm not going to lie. That was one of those moments that I was like, you know what? That was amazing.
So-
Good riddance to you.
Okay.
I wanted
Okay.
him to see that the kids were telling the truth.
So that's definitely the bad for me.
And he
Now
got
that
tore
you bring
apart.
that up, I think that the jocks have no business being in this movie. I think it was a complete waste of time and effort. And what town is allowing this 17-year-old kid to come in here
To run
and,
everything.
and make demands about literally anything?
And
like,
not to
what
mention-
grown adult is like, oh, this kid is definitely like the lead neighborhood watch, and we're going to do everything he says, and I'm going to call in this little girl doing this with a flashlight and all this stupid shit.
This
like,
is a
what
town-
the fuck?
This is a town where everybody knows everybody. Not everybody. First of all, this kid does not have any parents throughout the entire series. At least they show a lot of people's parents. this kid from the basketball team, he lives out of an abandoned video store, looks like. He's got no parents. He has a car. He has enough money to buy a 357 Magnum after the whole town knows he's unhinged. And nobody is going to bat an eye at the fact that he openly disobeys the sheriff and is running roughshod in a Bronco, trying to kill people that he thinks are possessed by Satan. Satan. Nobody stopped and said, okay, guys, hold on. Y'all see Hitler's love child over here running all over Hawkins Half Acre trying to murder these little kids. And none of the parents go, hey, that's my son. You say one more word, I'm going to fuck you, have you eaten soup the rest of your life. Like, if somebody said that about my son, like, my son's, he's part of a Satanist club and we need to find him, I'd be like, listen, homeboy, I'm about to come over there and teach you some manners because clearly your parents didn't. But it never happens. Nobody ever goes,
when your dad
hey, kid, that's a sheriff. Shut up.
When your dad is like Ted, though, I mean...
At least Ted was there at the meeting.
Yeah, that's
even
true.
if he got dragged there by his wife.
But either way, that was part of like the WTF. Like, what is this even? I will say that the way that the plan played out to where there was a distraction for Lucas, regardless of what it is, they could have literally had him tied up by Vecna's vines and it would have been plenty. Yeah. But the fact that they
the
pulled
basketball
him away,
team.
right?
The basketball team.
The fact that they cause a distraction for him so that what happens to Max happens to Max.
Yeah.
Like, it makes total sense. But other than that, he literally had no purpose in the entire show. He was completely useless. My other bad, and I only have one minor bad.
Jeez,
and
bro, these bads just keep coming out. They're all minor. Like,
it's
really,
just a little one.
It's
just the jocks is really the most. But I am going to only briefly side with Millie Bobby Brown's argument with how. Not necessarily that the main four characters or these kids don't have much of a play, but if she said, and I'm only going off of what Ryan said because I didn't hear this interview, but she said something about there not being, NELLO, about there not being enough death or carnage the way that it was kind of portrayed. I don't necessarily disagree. I'm happy that more people didn't die. I'm sad with the people that did or the people that got like possibly, maybe, who knows, permanently injured. But I feel like I was really amped up to lose someone really significant and important, and not that we didn't, but we kind of didn't. Yeah. Like, I feel like Max's loss is probably the worst, is definitely the worst out of the people that did die in that series.
She's the only character with a lot of serious character development that got any big consequences.
And she's technically not dead, and my fan theory involving her would only make her even more important in the next season.
Finish the show with that fan theory. Let's get into our uglies. The ugly for me was the whole half-hour goodbye session, or the aftermath, really. Not so much Hopper and 11. That needed to happen.
Yep.
That was amazing. That was great. Dustin making sure to go talk to Eddie's uncle, I could have done without. I really didn't care. Robin's whole love thing with this girl, I didn't need that much attention to it.
Jelly sandwiches.
Not just, and it's not because that she's not just because she's gay, but just I just didn't care. I didn't care enough. There's literally 3 seconds of her talking about this girl in this season. In the first one, she talks about how she likes girls, and that was a big development for her character. But this one, they're like, this is the girl that I like. They show her for 2 seconds there, and at the end, it was like they had to do it. They felt compelled to keep throwing it in there.
I'm surprised because
the gun shop. So.
But not that girl, not that actress is super super big, but she played the main character in Anne of Green Gables, and she was actually pretty good, like as a child actress. So I was kind of surprised that no, I'm talking about her love interest, and she was really good in it. Like, personal opinion. I haven't really seen her in much else.
First of all, what is Anna Green Gables?
What is that?
It's like an old book that was written a long time ago, and they made a TV show about it.
You make it seem like we should all know about this damn show.
No, but I guarantee you.
Am I missing something?
No, but there's people out there that listen to this that know exactly what I'm talking about, even pre the fact that there was a TV show. But anyway, she played that character really well, especially to the books, and it just kind of surprised me that she got like literally probably a total of 3.5 minutes on screen over the whole season. You
have at least 20 characters that have major development. There's
that's
no
what I'm
room.
saying. Then why pick somebody who like has been a main role in a recent Netflix series?
Yeah, to me that was the ugly.
Because they already had a retainer.
The rehashing of everything that happened in the Upside Down. I get it. Or not in the Upside Down, in the program that Elle was in. I get it. You want to develop it, but they just introduce these characters that are just mean for the sake of being mean, which a couple of those episodes, some of these plot points could have taken 10 minutes total. Yeah, sure. Some of the other kids with psychic powers were dicks. Okay. You don't need to spend an entire episode about that. The whole block thing, speed it up. Let's go.
block thing.
Like where she had a block with her powers, she couldn't use them, and she had to re-figure out how to do it. And then they're showing all these other kids who are like, "You're stupid."
She wasn't blocked. Vecna took them from her. It explains that in season 4.
I didn't interpret it that way.
Yeah, because he literally says, "I took your powers in order for me to be able to be successful in doing this." So she took her powers through when she had that infection going on in her leg. It was sucking the power out of her. At least I don't know if it was that thing that actually pulled the power out of her, but it was the mind flare that took her powers from her through Vecna. Is what he told her. He literally said, "Remember when all that happened? Yeah, I took them from you." Because he ended up absorbing her powers to do the mind travel.
But that's what the Papa told her. He's like, you had something happen that was traumatic. That's why you can't use your powers right now. And we've got to reteach you how to do it. And I was like, no, please don't reteach her. Just give her option A, where you give her a little injection and boom, she's got him back.
That's what I'm saying. It's the Rocky effect all over again. She had to go
there's just wasted time in the series.
Because Elle's got to come back because Elle's the only one that can save him.
So the episode didn't need to be an hour and a half long or whatever it was.
The first one, no. But there was meat that could have been taken off this bone, especially when they spent as much as they did on every episode.
Yeah.
I mean, they spent over $1 million per episode.
I think there was a lot of bunker stuff that wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Episode,
And that's all I'm saying.
It could have just been an hour. They
Even
could have cut 40
throughout
minutes
a lot
out
of
or whatever
series.
that was.
I'm going to give an ugly really quick. But it's a series ugly. It's not a season, like a season or specific episode ugly. Where the F are this gangbanger group of kids and supposedly number 8? Like, what the fuck happened with that?
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
I was gonna say that's another one.
Where, like, why was that?
Why did you introduce them?
That's what I said too. I was like, one of the first things. Why have they introduced
and why have we never explained how she, or apparently one, waxed all these kids and yet she somehow survived out in the world? Why have we not explained that?
Right. Where is
because if he cleaned house, then where is her getting up and escaping like Elle did in the very beginning of the series?
Yep. A lot of questions to be answered. I think though this does not in any way deter me from season 5.
Not a chance.
I think there are actual consequences that are going to come in season 5. There are going to be more stakes for literally everyone because they're all back together.
Yep.
And I think you're going to see a lot of people, maybe even 11, get whacked.
A lot of I call 11's going to die.
Yeah.
It's that
supposedly there's like a 5-year jump.
The series ending, people are going to die.
How many years?
Even though it doesn't
5
have
years.
any weight because the series is over.
Yeah.
So my question is it like a 5-year jump as in like Maxine's going to be in a coma for 5 years? Because are we talking fan theories real quick?
Yeah, let's do that because I think season 5, which is a 5-year jump, I think it's going to be like Mad Max versus the right side up versus upside down.
So there's been the fan theories that have come out in regards to Will and how everybody seems to think that it's going to circle back to him and it's going to be mainly a Will series or a Will season because he's the one where it started and everybody seems to think that he's the one where it's going to end.
And he's the one who even said at the end that I could still feel him.
Yep, he's the one that can constantly feel him, and I don't know how this child survived in the Upside Down for as long as he did, and Eddie was dead in like 2.5 minutes. Like,
he didn't play him.
Same with Barb.
I guess not, but Barb dead too. I mean, I'm just saying, like, how did this kid hide out as long as he did and survive? I feel like there's a reason that
because my homie grabbed the strap before he left, bro.
I
got
guess
that little BB gun. He wasn't playing around.
He did have that little 22 rifle.
But my bigger fan theory that I've actually come up with that I think, well, I did come up with it. Let me just,
it's all you.
I'm sure other people have thought this because I've read comments that have had similar fan theories. I think because if we look at the timeline of how things happened, Vecna was dying right there on the front stoop of the house in front of Robin, Nancy, and Steve. He basically was burning alive. And then all of a sudden it flashes away, like they look away and they look back, and he's somehow gone. At the exact same time, and this is after Max has been snapped and she's blind and she's laying there with Lucas and she dies. At that exact same time, Elle brings her back. And now she's in a coma. So my thought is that Vecna has somehow used that mind power and is now laying dormant in Maxine's body, healing, and that she is going to be some sort of possessed version of Vecna whenever she wakes up. or that
Vecna's a
he's,
terrible name for
or
a
that
villain.
he is going to,
Vecna is from D&D. That's the whole point.
or
It ties
that's-
into everything.
or
So
that's
this could
how
be a
he's
big
going.
D&D game, and we don't even know it. So at
Right.
the end of the show, they could be
It
like,
could
"Oh,
be-
it's over!"
yes, and
they
that's
get up.
that's a huge
Oh my
fan
god,
theory
I've been
too.
playing this in my head while you guys are doing this.
That's literally another big fan theory is that
Well,
the
that guy's
whole
smart.
series is going to end with the 4 kids sitting around playing D&D, and that's how it ends.
Fuck, that's dope.
Right? It kind of would be dope. I mean,
See,
a part of me would be like, it felt
I
so
would-
wasted, but at
I
this
might
point,
find the Duffer Brothers and fight them if that's the case. Because if it's D&D, then the kids should be out there just like going ham.
But that's the whole
as their
point because they're in the pizza parlor, so shit's
No,
going
I
on,
mean,
and
I
they're
get
off
that.
doing their own thing.
Yeah, but they
that's
would
the
be
whole point.
doing
That's
it not
D&D is a shit.
adults. Exactly. The whole point of D&D is I'm a character. I'm doing the work.
But you don't
They
have
should
to
be fucking
follow
doing
them. You could go off. If we're in a group, you could just walk off and do whatever the hell you want.